Yo, welcome to Team Red Titan. And today we're going to be reviewing the Sideshow Collectibles brand new Beast Premium Format exclusive. Only 250 pieces in the world. I'm going to be telling you why this is the Beast to own and why it could be the best Beast ever made. Stay tuned. Okay, so we start on the unboxing. Just got it out of the art box. It was interesting actually. It's the first Sideshow piece I think I've got where it's got actually straps instead of sellotape, which I'm very happy with. I'm glad they took something from the way XM used to do it, or well, the way XM do it. So yeah, let's have a look and see what's going on here. So this is the top part. Okay, no tape, straight off. And that is what we are looking at. So it looks like everything is on one layer, which is absolutely spot on. No problems there at all. And let's get piece out by piece and we'll see how we go. So let's look. It's actually deceptive because as I look through the screen and I see it, and as I look down at it with my own two eyes, the base actually looks quite big. So let's have a little see. Try not to break anything here. It's quite a complex base. And it's a very good weight. As you can tell by the strain in my voice. Okay, so be very careful with this. So this is where we're at. It's got the wooden effect of the desk. You've got some really cool books. So a nice emblem there on his desk. Some lovely work on this. Wow, that's pretty cool, man. It's very hard to maneuver. I'm just trying to be super careful because the first time I'm seeing it is through your eyes as well as my own. So I'm trying to, there's some scrolls and some graphs and bits and pieces there, some like bowl. You got some books, all like very much put in all different sort of ways, like they're being read in a rush or, you know, by somebody who's quite untidy, typical man. Not all completely in uniform, wrong way round, upside down. This is a spectacular looking base, man, I have to say. You've got some graphs up there. You've got the evolution of man. I'm a Christian, so I don't believe that shit, but we'll get into that another time. And I actually got number 3 of only 200, and I think that's 250 pieces made worldwide. So this is an incredibly rare piece. Let's get that down. Let's get it on the Lazy Susan there. I do like my shoes. Look, my wife takes a piss out of me for these, but they're well comfy. Okay, slightly out of breath now from taking pictures of the base. The base is magnificent. I had to put the camera down, have a look at it, and it is absolutely, like, it is really stunning, man. I've got to say, it is absolutely magnificent. Books. It's got all kinds of bits and pieces everywhere. It's got little jugs, little vases, little like bits and pieces everywhere. Wood. It's fantastically done. It's got like dents and marks, and you know, basically it looks worn, it looks used. It's fantastic. Really spectacular base. Now let's get out the big boy and see what's what. So I always love the way they come sealed on the first Jesus, that's a big old piece, man. Oh, crikey. Yep. So, oh my word, sorry about that. You couldn't see any of that because I was so. Oh yeah. It's not, you know, in the video when you watched the prototype, you had some fantastic shades and things in this, a lot of lighter blues. They are there, but they obviously are factory done, so they're not as what you would call as obvious. That glass, you know, that thing in his foot is wicked, man. Reading the book, claws look great. I can't see any breakages or problems. I've got a little bit of styrofoam in the nails, but we'll sort that out all in good time. But you can sort of get a look at that. So I had people talking to me about the anatomy on the feet, like the way the fur was. But look, I think in person you can see it's just fantastic. You've You can see actually the curve of the shin bone going down there. You've got his tibialis anterior there, sort of popping out. It's very well done considering. It looks much better in person than it does in pictures. Great work on the fur. Got so much detail in the back, sort of going on there. It's a big, sort of, almost like Alex's hairy Jewish back. I wish it was as muscular, but, you know, really delicate over there in the forearms. Look at the hair. He's reading the book, and inside the book you can see there's sort of inscriptions, there's diagrams, there's drawings, there's words. That's really good. Really big old peg, and look at the size of that. Okay, let's get in there and see what's what. I'm going to have to do this off camera, I'm afraid. He's on there. Let's turn the bear up so you can see, but that is basically where he's situated. His hand is so close to that edge, like the engineering had to be absolutely perfect, because his thumb actually sits across the edge of that sort of inner table, that smaller table of the two. You can sort of see it there. So you've got that sort of going on, where his thumb basically just caresses on that, and it's very, very close. So, yeah, looks beautiful, and it's big. It's deceptively big. I mean, next to my hand, you can sort of see the back, what I'm talking about here. So he's about probably like maybe 1.5 times my hand across. So it's probably like about, you know, this kind of wide, which is really decent. So, yeah, you can get a good look at that. And let's get out. You know, what's next? Let's pull out something. So let's go with whatever this looks fun. This is, okay, so this is the test tube that I believe, yeah, with the dripping element that goes. Let's have a little closer look at that. So get it in the light. Yeah, you've got the dripping element there. We have to be very careful with this, I'm assuming. Probably not my best choice actually to get this out first, but you can see in there it's even got the sort of clear resin going through there, and then it's got a resin on top of resin there. It's very nice, man. It's a lovely vibrant green. Yeah, I'm digging that. Alright, let's get this out wherever this is. So, oh, this is nice. Look at this. So you've basically got, you know, all kinds of scripts. That's actually really delicate across there, the back of that, look. And that is obviously keyed in. That's very, very low sort of point that is. Jesus, that's got quite a bit of weight. This is quite weighty for that very, very fine point there. Maybe it's a metal pin. It does feel cold. But still, it's going into this sort of resin area here. You want to be careful with this. This is definitely something you want to look after. You don't want to knock this one. So we'll try and find the house for that. But at the moment, it's a circular sort of key. So it's got to be going on somewhere on the base. I'll have a little look. I've just shown you the parts one by one as it stands. Very nice. They're a little bit bulky and a little bit thick, but up close, you know, I could have put a little bit of shading around them edges there. Like a little bit of wear and tear in there just to sort of break that up a bit. I think it's meant to look like this so you don't see it as much, but it's them little details there. I think you could go that extra mile, you know, would have been a bit better. But nice. I put the you know, the paperwork, basically those scrolls on, and I've put it, I mean, it's a circular sort of peg, so it can basically be posed any which way you want. Let's have a look at this. I basically put it across there like so. So when you turn it around, depends how you want to pose them, but you've got them sort of facing out. You can turn them ever so slightly. The only slight impediment you have is these books here. So you can't turn this too far around because these books sort of knock, but you can definitely get an angle on it. So once the head's on, and I found the angle I'm looking for, you can sort of get away with it that way. So at least you can move it, and I think a lot of these things you actually can. Okay, so now, what else we got going on in? Let's have a look. Right, I think it's probably best we start with a portrait or two. What do you reckon? So, you know, let's go with, I think this looks more like a classic portrait, so let's go with that. And I am correct. Oh, okay. This will be the portrait that I use. Or certainly the one I had in my mind that I'd be using. So let's Let's have a little look at this here. So we've got a lot of shades, got noticeably darker hair around the top, eyes, yeah, it's got his baby blues. You can see them, pretty cool. I'll turn that brightness a tad up so you can see. Beautiful teeth, lenses in the glasses, nice and thick, it's almost bifocals. Very clean, ears look great, hair looks great. It's a very nice portrait, that. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. Okay, and there's one of the other bits. I'm being a bit careful here because looking through the camera and, you know, you've got to, so I'm seeing this through what you can see, as opposed to when I pull the camera away and what I can see. And it's a bit strange when you're messing with your hands because, you know, you've got like something in your way. So I'm just trying to be a bit careful here. This is fantastic. This is lovely. This beautifully done, lovely and clear. It's got fantastic colours sort of running through it. You can sort of see there. It's very, very nice. I love green, so it's my favourite colour. So this is perfect. It's got a key, but I don't know where it goes. I'm assuming the green goes with the green. So I'm assuming this goes in here in some way. So yeah, obviously there's no magnet, so that's pretty loose on there. But it does key in really well. So it's not going to fall out from you turning it or anything, but just something to be aware of. No magnet, because you'd be able to see the magnet through the clear resin, so that wouldn't be any good. But yeah. See what this one is. Ooh. This is nice. It's nice too. Another beaker. Another genetics testing situation. Trying to find a cure for his mutation, or trying to find some sort of, you know, cure for someone getting sick or ill or dying. Trying to find the magic, you know, the magic of science to help his fellow X-Men. There's a nice little gauge on there as well. You can sort of see that. He's well fucking overfilled that, isn't he? Fucking idiot. Right, let's get on there. I believe this is a proximity piece. So this is a clock, sort of an alarm clock. It doesn't have a key. And I think the idea was that you could put this sort of wherever you sort of fancied, you know. You could sort of put it wherever you want on the space. So try and stop it from moving for a second. You can get a good sort of look at it. It's basically like a brass, you know, clock. Bit dull, but does the job. Roman numerals, perfect. Try and explain them to my son what they all meant the other day. That was hilarious. Yeah, and I think you just put that where you want it. This is the last sort of piece other than the alternative portrait, which is a more modern sort of portrait. This is another sort of, I want to say another sort of, what do they call these? Beaker sort of things, but this is like massive. Almost looks like a dinner tray sort of thing, but it's definitely not. It's got some lovely colours running in the bottom of it. Yeah, it's very nice. Catches the light lovely. And again, there is no key. So this is again a proximity sort of piece. So you just put it next to the statue, or you can leave it off if you want and keep it in a box. You can do what you want with it. I'm going to try and find a space for it. I mean, it's actually pretty wide. This is easily, you know, 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches across. So you're going to have to find a bit of real estate for this. Let's try and find somewhere for it. This is the second portrait, and this actually is magnificent. This is a really nice looking portrait. Fantastic work on the hair, the fringe all separate. The eyes look really, really nice. I think I prefer these eyes, these cat-like eyes with the slits. They look awesome, you know. The only issue is like, there's not really an issue, but the glasses, you want to be super careful with them, because like I can hit them rattling around on the top of that. It's glued in, you can see into the corners there, but it is definitely something you don't want to accidentally swipe with your hand. You're going to rip it off. But it looks actually really nice. I wasn't expecting to even be interested in using this portrait, to be honest with you. But it is going to be one of them ones that's going to be hard to store. You're not going to be able to wrap this up and like stick it with loads of other heads. This is going to have to be kept out and separate, which is a bit problematic because, you know what I mean? So it's either going to go in a box, or it's going to be quite hard for collectors to actually keep out unless you're happy to put it next to the piece. But this is really impressive, this portrait. It's much better than I anticipated. I was not remotely interested in this. Now I'm actually going to have to consider it. So well done, Sideshow. I've unboxed every single item now, and I've been impressed with everything is top, like literally top. I'm not disappointed with any one piece of this, and this is the beast to have, I'm telling you now. Spoiler, but this is the beast to have. This is the best beast statue out there. I'm gonna back it. Yeah, and we'll go through why. Okay, so let's get into this. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of this up close. You've seen the unboxing, so we start from here. As you know, many of these things on the table can actually be moved and changed on the desk. So you can, like, you can change the clock, you can change that big sort of glass beaker thing on the back. You can also turn that, where basically all the scrolls and stuff are. You can turn that around, so you can move that into any type of angle you like. You've got the base here, which is a fantastic wooden desk. He's basically his lab, his office desk. He's got loads of books over here. He's got all different sort of sizes, thicknesses. They've all been sort of placed kind of like a messy genius kind of way. They're all stacked in different places. They're not sort of OCD level or in order. You've got fantastic wood sort of detailing going on here. With all the X's everywhere, even up the top. There's all X's into that sort of design at the top there. It's hard to sort of see, but they're all going across. You see the X in the corner there. And you've got all these different books, different sort of labels, different colours. These all a bit look like encyclopedias to me, with the different numbers on them. You've got, titles and all sorts of bits and pieces there. I mean, just look at that grain going into that wood. That paint effect on there's fantastic, even to the point where there's dents and chips. Not like accidents or breakages in this, but it's actually done in the paint where you can see it. So it looks like a real used desk. It's not perfect. The wood stains light in certain areas where it indicates rubbing, or where things have been like dragged across it or scratched, or his claws have done it or something. It's really fantastic. You've got sort of the evolution of man there, and even into mutant, going into Magneto right at the end there, which I think is absolutely fucking awesome. I love the fact that they've got this ruler going through the book there to help keep it straight, just slitting them sides there. It's great. And then you've got that sort of what's that, sort of the genetics sort of code there over the top. You got the clock. Don't know the significance of the time, but it's like 6 minutes past 3. Fantastic. You can see how close the claw sort of cups into that there. It's really, really impressive how close that actually is. I was quite worried when I put it in. Like detailing there of the books. So discoveries of, what's that, Voyage X. And you've got other things over here as well, books in the background. Fantastic detailing just throughout, real good detail. Things that you wouldn't even think about seeing, even to the point where there's some writing underneath here, pages are open, left. I think there's some really great work here. The one criticism I have of these scrolls actually is I think they could have been done a fair bit better. That's my probably only nitpick there. When you start looking in the top and you start seeing now, it looks a bit poor. That it's not painted, it's not finished. So other than that, I don't really have much in terms of negativity to say. It's got all kind of bits and pieces under here, not just books, but little trinkets and sort of bits and pieces there. I don't even know what the fuck that is, that little canister thing. Underneath the table, got this desk, that sort of shelf that comes out. You've got scrolls and books and sort of papers and some sort of bowl or something under there as well. Great sort of inlay work onto the wood. And then you've got this, they've got all these different kind of measuring flasks and beakers and things, different colours in there. It's obviously clear resin and pink sort of inside, and this one's like a clear one. Just look fantastic. They really do add some amazing work to this. And then you start getting onto actually, that's just the base, that's 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes of just the base detailing. They start getting up into the skin, and you start talking about how the hairs and the fur. I mean, look at the delicacy of this around the back of the forearm. You can see where he's like, radial brachialis is sort of like popping out because he's balancing on that arm. It's incredibly well balanced. You can see here, just if I sort of show you just using this, where you basically Let's have a look. You can just look, I mean, look, nothing sort of moves or wobbles or nothing. It's really, when you start spinning the centre of gravity, considering it's on one arm, it's really quite impressive from Sideshow here. The clock is movable. You know, you can put it sort of on the book if you want. You can put that back on there. The clear, big, white flask thing, you can put that anywhere you want to as well. You can see how the hair changes from all the different areas on it. It's got this sort of like tuft over the shoulder, which I think is awesome. And that sort of runs up his back. The portrait's class. You can see he's very much focused. It's very hard to see like in this light, but if I sort of turn up, unless you can see that his eyes and baby blues are focused right onto this, you know, measuring. And he's basically this. You can maneuver, so this moves a fair bit inside and out. So if you want it to line up perfectly, it comes in and out where you want it to. So the line up is about there. So you can have it where you want it to be. So it looks like it's going right into the top and add into that liquid that's down at the bottom of that sort of flask. The hairline, the beard, the whole thing, the teeth, super clean on the face. It's got sort of bifocal glasses on, they're magnified when you look through the lenses. You know, the book actually is just like fucking packed full of details. Talking about, I don't know what that is, that plants, genetics, what is that? There's going on here, the cell breaking down of the makeup of this plant and an extract. It's probably like an antidote to something. Someone's been hurt, poisoned, nearly dying, whatever. And he's in there in his lab trying to fix it, saving someone's life. You've got this fantastic sort of blue, purple, light blue sort of shades going through the torso there. And I really do enjoy when the light captures that. Fantastic sculpt. You know, you can still see his abdomen, his obliques, his serratus, the inserts there, and underneath there with the chest. And I mean, when you start talking about the size of this, you know, this is my hand. The mass of it is huge. It's a big character. It's a big statue. You can see the belt there, nice clean lines, no scuffs, marks, nothing. You got the pants. Some sort of me dribbling on that. Then you've got it going on under here as well, like you can see with the lats and sort of the abdomen there. You can really see how that's, you know, his abdomen's all sort of contorted and stretched. Fantastic work on the tricep behind his arm and the way them hairs go. I just think that's awesome. And when you're talking about Beast, this is Beast in his lab, brains, not fighting. You've got the link to his gymnastics background when he was Hank McCoy. You've got the link with his hands being like feet and being used as such, you know, before he tried to cure himself of his mutation and turned hairy and blue. You know, he was like a gymnastics guy, wasn't he? He was gymnast and he had like crazy feet that looked like hands. And this is being shown here. In certain angles of photography, when you're taking pictures of this, it can look a bit strange. But when you sort of look at it from all the 360 sort of degrees, you can see where the leg is basically turning around the ankle. And he's tipping that liquid into the beaker thing there. And yeah, it just works perfectly. It doesn't look strange at all when it's in person. In some photographs I've seen of it, I'm a bit lower, a little bit funny, but it really doesn't. If you've got the calf and the quads, all the musculature is correct. They're not overdone. It's not stupid. You know, you've just got a little bit of, he's got added mobility through his feet, which just looks great. And with a 250 edition size, and the only true classic Beast, you know, sort of really of any substance, I think, to be honest with you, I think this is the best Beast on the market. You know, the bushy Beast has been king for a long time, but that is not a classic Beast. That's a modern Beast. The suit is a bit lame. It's not a classic Beast, and to be honest with you, the sculpt is a little bit dated. The best part of that Beast is 100% the desk. And I like to think that when I look at this, the best part of this Beast is actually probably the figure and the desk together. I think they're equally as impressive. So for me, this is the best Beast to buy. And with a 250 edition size, once these are gone, they're going to be gone. And I think you're going to be paying a premium to get this in a few years' time. I think this is going to be one of them pieces that's going to disappear. People are going to forget it exists, and then when it pops up, it's going to go for pretty good money. So I had to jump on here and sort of get in there first before that got a bit stupid, because I thought I wouldn't get a second chance at this. Anyway, let me know what you think.
We're going to move into this, obviously, Beast premium format. This is the exclusive version, as Gio was saying. So the character Beast, it's Hank McCoy. Full name is Henry Philip Hank McCoy. His first appearance was in X-Men #1, which was in 1963. And he's been one of the main characters for a long, long time. Apparently, he actually died recently in the comics in X-Force 50, which is volume 6. March 2024, he died. So I didn't know that, because I don't really read a lot of comics in the recent years. This is the exclusive, which the edition size on this is 250. The exclusive is the alternate portrait, which is the more cat-like look. Maybe Arthur Adams, but I might be wrong. And then the collector's edition, as they call it, is a 500 edition size. The piece, I'm not going to lie, from the offset, I wasn't very convinced or sold by the pose. I'm still not 100% sold. I haven't seen this one in person yet, but I believe it's one you really, really need to see. I think that looking through these videos and Gio's images, there are some fantastic elements to it. I love the way that you can put the proximity pieces wherever you want to put them. I love the detailing on the book, and it's not just, all the books are all the same. I do like the way they're all different. I like the way you can put the flasks and the vials and whatever you want to call them, the clock, and you can put them wherever you want to put them. I do think that's a really, really nice touch. Also, just to say, this is measuring is 26.5 inches tall, so it's quite a tall piece, 16 inches wide and 13 and a quarter inches deep. So, I think what I do like about this is that Sideshow are thinking outside the box. They're doing something different. And I do really, really like that. It's the same as like the Wolverine in the, well, not in the vat, but he's meant to be, where the bubbles and things around it. I'm not a fan of the piece, but I do really hope it's sold well, because I really want companies like Sideshow to think outside the box and to do these characters. It's not for me, but I just think that it's great to see this variation. It's great to see them being more creative with their poses. So this actually is designed by Will Harbottle and also Richard Lung. Sculpt is by Ryan Peterson. So the design is by Michael Woodring. Paint is obviously by Katsapine, who's one of the kind of best in the business. With that team, it's not surprising if this is a fantastic piece. Again, I do think that this is going to be one of those ones which is sleeper of the year. I think people really let this one go. They looked here, they just thought it looked awkward, and they passed on it. But I can't wait to go to Gio's house. I can't wait to see this piece in hand and judge it for myself, because I do think it is one of those ones where pictures of certain angles are not going to do this any kind of justice. You're going to need to see it in front of you. You're going to need to be able to move around it, and you're going to need to be able to take it in to look at it. So I think Gio's covered pretty much everything else. Thanks for watching, and I'll hand you back to Gio. Take care.
Okay, so you've heard what we've all got to say about the piece. Now I want to know about your comments. Let me know what you think about where this ranks. For me, you've heard me say it before, I think this is the sleeper piece of 2025. I stand by that. I want to know where you rank it and what you think it could do to be improved. For me, it's top. You've heard what Alex has to say. Now we want to hear in the comments about what you've got to say. As always, thanks very much for your support, love, comments and time that you give us. Be safe. Carry on collecting. Peace.